Hello, this is Roberto and this is the HVAC is my channel. Today we're going to be talking about duct sizing, alright? So let's get into it. So I'm going to put the title in here, so duct sizing, there we go, duct sizing, and thanks so much everyone for watching the HVAC is my channel. I'm getting more subscribers, I'm getting a lot of comments and DMs, everything, so thanks for your support, and any question just let me know and leave it on the comments, okay? So for duct sizing, we're going to have two main aspects, okay? So what you see on here, I'm going to put this in pink very quickly. So this is actually a table. This is a summary of what is about duct sizing, because in a HVAC system there's so many components, there's so many topics. So for example, in here in this table you have low pressure, medium pressure, high pressure. So usually what we do is low pressure and medium pressure. I have seen this a lot. High pressure might be a specialties or industrial, and then we have general toilets, dishwasher, exhaust. So that's mainly for commercial kitchens. And so you in the commercial kitchen you have also a dishwasher and then kitchen exhaust, so you have a transfer duct, intake louver, relief louver. And again, also this applies for commercial and residential, but mainly in residential I've seen low pressure ducts. So for residential you can use only the friction rate of 0.01, so it's kind of easier, right? But there's more in commercial, see, there's more options, all right? So that was a brief explanation, so I'm going to change this color to yellow. So for duct sizing, very important parts that you need to know is the friction rate, okay, and the velocity, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to use the table actually, and I got the table from other sources, but I just made a summary though, a different summary, and this is going to be a very good resource. So when you're sizing a duct, you have two options. We're doing it this little by little. So you can use your classic ductulator, but it's always important to get new tools, right? So I'm going to put in here, number one, you can choose your ductulator. During years, a lot of HVAC designers, contractors have been using the ductulators. In fact, some of them are already, yellow or are already teared apart a little bit, But you can always buy a new ductulator. It's very, very useful, right? So in the ductulator, you only have to care about the friction or the velocity, but it also applies. The other way is using the duct sizer online, right? Duct sizer, I'm sure there's other methods and everything, but usually you can choose. I usually use the duct sizer, and this is going to be available online for download. I also have a video about it, about how to use it. I'm going to grab this to the side, see? This ductulator, this Design Tools duct sizer version 6.4, because this is not going to get old and it's very easy. For example, if you have a system that is 8,000 CFM, and then you say, okay, this is going to be a medium pressure duct, velocity, what's the velocity? 2000, and then you want to put in here something like 20, for example, the duct size 20, so it's going to give you 20 by 31, or you can put 24 by 26. See, you can play around in here. So I usually like using this, but also you can use the ductulator too. That's not an issue at all, whichever works better for everyone, okay? So now that we have this a little bit now more understanding, we're going to check on the low pressure and medium pressure. So this is very interesting depending on the pressure. So usually we're gonna put, maybe this is just like kind of some sort of a reference for low pressure. I'm gonna put low pressure. For low pressure, we're gonna put like below 2 inches of water gauge. Okay, this is back. Okay, 2 inches of water gauge. Okay, water gauge, and then for medium pressure. See, medium pressure, we're gonna have like between 2 and 6. See, between 2 and 6 inches of water gauge or water column. And then for high pressure, we're gonna have like greater than 6 inches of water gauge. All right. Okay, so that's why I usually see low pressure and medium pressure. So and also depending on the company, everyone has their own way to do. So these are kind of guidelines. So I've seen other places where they say instead of 2, it has to be below 3 inches of water gauge, or 3. And also you can always look it up in the internet, but this is just as a general guideline, okay? So now we're gonna make a quick example on how to use the duct sizing. All right, and also we're gonna have more videos, so bear with me a little bit. So I'm gonna draw a DOA system, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a DOA system right here. All right, I'm gonna put this like this, and then I'm gonna change it the color to yellow. Okay, so this is gonna be my DOAs. This is my DOA system. So I made a lot of videos about DOAs, right? So now we have more understanding. So I'm trying to supply outside air to the system. So this is my DOAs located on the roof. And then I'm gonna have in here, since it's on the roof, I'm gonna put this like this, like that. There you go. There you go. All right. So I'm gonna change the color, and yes, just bear with me. So I'm gonna put this in here, color right here, and this is the roof right there, and then I'm gonna put my ducts. Okay, so pretty much I'm gonna have two ducts, and this is pretty much, I would say, more schematic, so more than in the reality. Okay, reality, let's go here. I'm putting a duct right here, and then this goes down. See, this goes down to supply, and this is the exhaust. As I was mentioning, this is mainly a schematic. So let's go here, okay, and then go down. There we go. All right. And then why I was doing this actually, because usually we have a lot of space on the roof. Sometimes we don't, but see, this represents the roof. And we put the DOA system. And as I was mentioning, this is a schematic because DOA is not going to be just sitting on the floor. We need the curve, right? 14 inches, 18 inches, depending on the where it is located. Okay. All right. So for those system, I'm going to put exhaust and outside air. So for example, this is outside air. So let's put in here an example of outside air. There you go. Outside air. Let's put this in yellow. There we go. So what's my OA? So outside air, I'm supplying outside air of, for example, 8200 CFM. 8200 CFM. There we go. And the DOA system is going to be bringing outside, it's bringing outside air, and also it's covering the exhaust, right? So see, the exhaust is coming this way. See, this way, at a rate of 6,100. See, this is going to be my EA, which is my exhaust air, CFM. I don't need to put CFM, but let's put it in here, CFM. All right. So whenever you do your calculations, you always do preliminary calculations. Okay. So for preliminary calculations, usually I put, like, depending on the case, depending on the building. For this, I would put, for example, 2.5. There we go. So this is going to be 2.5 inches of water gauge. See, inches of water gauge. And then for this one is going to be exhaust, depending on your ductwork, 1.5 inches of water gauge. This is preliminary. Once you get the selections from the representative, for example, for those, you're going to get, like, say, Train, Aeon, Carrier. Once you get all the selections and everything, you have to run a static pressure calculation, all the ductwork, all the elbows, adding all that up, and you can validate these assumptions, this preliminary design. Okay. All right. So technically, okay, now that you have from the representative, because they send you what is called cut sheet. So the rep, I'm gonna just put in here the representative. The rep sends you the cut sheet. Okay, the cut sheet where you're gonna be able to have all the information, most of the information. So what we need is the CFM. Okay, so now that we are here, we're gonna size these ducts. Okay, let's start with the OA. Okay, so for the OA, again, I was mentioning the OA is 8200 CFM. Okay, we're not gonna put CFM, it's obvious. And then we're gonna have the static pressure is gonna be 2.5. Okay, 2.5. However, we're gonna go with this 8200 CFM. So for 8200 CFM, we go to the table, and then we need to determine, number one, if it's a low pressure or medium pressure duct. So see, for 2.5 inches of water gauge, okay, for 2.5 inches of water gauge, it goes in the category of medium pressure. See, medium pressure. It's more than 2, right? And also that also depends on how this system is delivering outside air. Sometimes they go directly to the space, or sometimes it has a VAB box, terminal unit, most of the time. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in here, just 1 minute, bear with me. Right here, I'm making like this, there you go. Like that. Okay, and I'm gonna make a box in here. I'm gonna turn this to pink. Let's make a box. So let's make a box right here. There you go, a box. See? Okay, and this is the VAV. Okay. So this is called the VAB box right here. All right, so this is the VAB. The VAB or CAV box. So usually what we consider this is before the VAB box is going to be medium pressure, medium pressure, okay, medium pressure, and then after the VAB, the upstream, downstream. So after the VAB is going to be the low pressure duct, low pressure. There you go. All right. So since we determined step number 1, I don't want to confuse anyone. Because this is the HVAC easy math, it's not the HVAC confusing math, okay? So what I use is, in the beginning, once you do more practice, then it's gonna be easier. So in the beginning, I do 3 steps. Number 1, okay, step number 1 is gonna be, is it low or medium? Okay, so I do my check marks. Is it low or medium for the OA? For the OA, 8200, and then this is 2.5 inches of water column, and also it's before the BAV, so I'm gonna go make a check mark in here. Instead, is it a low or medium? It's medium. Oh, that's great. Step number 1, good. The step number 2, is it greater than 6,000 or below 6,000 CFM? Right? So I'm following actually the table. See, medium pressure right here. I'm gonna put this in pink again. I'm gonna put this in pink. So actually it's medium pressure. So in here it says criteria. CFM. You see CFM greater than 6,000, you use the velocity. So you size this duct based on velocity, which is 2,000 FPM. And then if it's below 6,000 CFM, you use the friction of 0.2 friction, okay, 0.2. All right, so in here, what is the CFM? So we're gonna go again in here, we're gonna put a check mark. The CFM actually for the OA is 8200, so it's greater than 6,000. All right, I'm gonna be consistent with the colors because I usually also use these tables as my cheat sheet sometimes. Okay, so there you go. So it's 6,000, and step number 3 is gonna be like, how do you size it? So if it's medium, it's more than 6,000, and if it's more than 6,000, you use velocity. See, velocity. And what's the velocity? You go to the table. So seeing here it says medium pressure. The velocity will be 2,000. Okay, perfect. So in here we're gonna put velocity 2,000 FPM. Done. That's all I need to do. These 3 steps are going to help you out a lot. So anytime you want to size any duct, it's follow the 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, low, medium, more than 6 or less than 6,000, and then the velocity or friction. There we go. Now let's go. You can go to your duct sizer, to your ductulator. So in my case, I'm gonna use the version that I have, which is the duct sizer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear units. Okay, what's the flow rate? The flow rate in here is 8,200. So I'm gonna put in here 8,200. Okay, 8,200 CFM. And then I'm not gonna use the head loss, which is the friction, inches of water column by every 100 feet. Is not the friction. I'm gonna size it based on velocity, which is 2,000. So velocity in here, I'm gonna put 2,000. That's all you need. CFM and velocity criteria. How do I know that? You go to the table. How did I get this table? I got it from other sources. I got it, actually, there's a book called Arthur Vell, Rule of Thumb. array, internet. Overall, I just made the summary, okay? And now, in here I have the duct size. Okay, you need to put the duct size. Let's start with a 20. 20 by 32, maybe. Let's put in here 26. 26 by 34. There you go. So let's just, depending on what the space is, let's put in here this size. Okay, I'm gonna put this as green. There you go. I'm putting this as green. So let's put in here something in here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna put in here, my duct is 26 by 24. So 24 by 26. 26 by 24. Or you can also do it the other way around. 24 by 26. Yeah, let's put it 26 by 24, and then we can always review it later. See? And also, I'm trying to maintain an aspect ratio 4:1, you know. So the thing is, this is the process. Now let's go again and try the other part. Okay, let's try to do it the other way, okay? We're gonna check on this is the outside air. We're checking on the outside air. We're gonna check on the exhaust, okay? Exhaust. So I'm gonna put in here, what's my exhaust? Exhaust air. So for my exhaust air, I'm gonna put in here, what's my exhaust air CFM? It's 6,100 CFM. Yeah, let's put CFM, and then what is my inches, my external static pressure? 0.5, I mean 1.5 inches of water gauge. There you go. All right. So again, we're gonna follow the steps that I was telling you. Step number 1, is it medium or low? So you're gonna put in here low or medium. So low or medium, what is it? So the inches of water gauge is 1.5, see, 1.5. So it's less than 2 inches of water gauge. And also you need to check there is nothing in here, it's straight, it's going straight to DOAS. It's collecting all the exhaust from different air devices and going all collecting to DOAS and then exhausting it, right? So in this case, we're gonna go for low. See, it's gonna be low. Step number 2, what is it? Do you remember, guys? So we need to check on the 6,000. Is it more than 6,000 or it's less than 6,000? So in this case, we have like 6,100. So it's more, it's greater than 6,000. So I'm gonna put in here a check mark. And then number 3, I'm gonna put my criteria. I'm gonna go to the table, and then in the table, what do you have in there? In the table, you're gonna have so low pressure right here. Okay, and then we're gonna have more than 6,000. So it's more than 6,000, it's velocity. So you size it based on this, 1500 CFM. There you go. Why? Because it's CFM greater than 6,000. Your criteria is the velocity, 1500. And honestly speaking, 1500 FPM is a conservative number, because sometimes you can go 1600, 17, 1800, but the greater you go, the less conservative you are. So it's better safe than sorry. The same thing for this velocity in here, 2000. It could be 2000, 2100, 2200, 2300, but if you want to be conservative, in other words, a little bit oversize the ducts, you're gonna be safe. All right. Okay, so in here it's going to be 1500, so the criteria is going to be velocity. I'm going to put this in yellow. So yellow is going to be here, velocity, okay. So the velocity is going to be 1500 FPM, feet per minute. Okay, so we did all of it. Okay, we do a third check mark, and we're going to size the duct. Okay, let's go to the duct sizer, or you can also go to your ductulator. Remember, it doesn't matter which one you use, it's what you feel most comfortable with. And also remember that the most important things are the results. If the results are the best, use whatever method is best for you, right? Okay, so I use this, and then we're gonna see what's my CFM. It's 6100, and then head loss. Nope, we're using velocity, right? So we're gonna go for velocity if the velocity is 1500 FPM, and then we're gonna size this duct. So let's start with a 20 by 32. Let's start with a 24. So 24 by 26. Yeah, actually overall it's gonna be 24 by 26, or 26 by 24. Let's go 26 by 24, the same. Okay, let's go here, and then we're gonna put this in green. So let's put this in green. Where are you? Right here. I'm gonna put this in green, and the size of this duct is gonna be 26 by 24. And then what I like actually from this duct sizer is that you can always play with the numbers, because once your set is done, you always go through QA QC, and then sometimes they're gonna say, oh my gosh, no, I don't like this. We don't have any space. So you can always play with this. The only space that we have is you know, your height could be, for example, we can only do 20. Okay, 20. If you do 20, then it has to be 32 the width, right? The height 20 and the width 32. So depends on the criteria on everything, but this gives you the flexibility. The most important thing is the criteria of CFM. You will always have, are you doing FPM or you are doing friction rate? Okay, alrighty, we did actually the outside air and then the exhaust air. We're going to do the last one, which is going to be the low pressure, okay, downstream. So we're going to size this duct. Actually, let's go here, and then I need to size this duct. What's that duct? Okay, so let's go for that, and then I'm gonna put this instead of outside air, let's put in here outside air. We're gonna put after the VAB downstream. Let's put in here something like, I don't want to confuse anyone, but I'm gonna put this as conditioned air. Let's see here, yellow. Okay, so let's put the conditioned air that is coming after, right after the VAV is gonna be how much? For example, in here, after everything and here and there and ventilation, say that this is gonna be 300 CFM. All right, so say 300 CFM. That's how much am I going. So this is gonna be 300 CFM. And the pressure is very low. This is absolutely low pressure. Okay, 0.5. Let's say 0.5 static ESP for example. All right. So overall is less than 2 inches, and always when it goes after the VAV is going to be low pressure, and before is going to be a medium pressure. And then step number 1. This is easier, but you know, I'm just following the steps so no one gets confused. So is it low or medium? So it's low. Okay, then we have a check mark. Number 2, is it going to be more than 6,000 or less than 6,000 CFM? So it's obviously less, so check mark. So number 3 is going to be the criteria. Which criteria are you checking? Okay, let's go checking here with the color pink. I don't know why I choose that color always. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so low pressure, and this is going to be 3, low pressure and less. See, if it's below 6,000, you use the friction method. Friction. What's the friction for low pressure? The friction is 0.1. All right, so we're going to put in here friction. In here is, we're going to put in here friction, and it is 0.1 friction rate, which is inches per 100 feet. All right, inches of water gauge. Okay, so now based on that, let's size it. Also though, I want to add something else in here. 0.1 is overall okay, but if you want to be very conservative, I'm gonna put this as pink. So 0.08, that would be a better conservative number to be safe. Use 0.1, but sometimes I use 0.08 honestly. Okay, so let's go and size this duct very quickly, and this applies also for residential. See, the same way, you can always check your duct sizes. Okay, so in here we're gonna go to the duct sizer, clear, and again we're gonna put in here 300, so 300, and then we're not using velocity, we're using friction. That's gonna be 0.1, and then what's gonna be the size? Okay, number 1, the size could be, what happens if you wanna make this round? So if it's round, see, if it's round, I'm gonna be consistent with the colors. So let's make it green. So if you want to make it round, this is going to be round. How much? This is 8. It says 8.8. So I'm going to make this at 10, for example, 10 inches round, or I'm going to put the equivalent to the rectangular duct. So the rectangular duct, 10. Oh, perfect. See, so when you go downstream, when you go, because this is going to go to the space, you need to think about the ceiling plenum. So in the ceiling plenum, for example, the height is 10 or 12. So usually I put a 10 and to see, let's try to see a 8. So 8 by 8, you can also do 8 by 8. Or you can also do a 10 by 7, 10 by 8. So what I'm gonna do in here is I'm gonna do a 10 by 8. So whichever you wanna choose. Here I'm just rounding it up. Okay, so see, as you can see, you can use the duct sizer version and everything. So overall, this is the bread and butter of the HVAC design engineering or HVAC contractors. The contractors go to the site and they check on they got their ductulator. Of course, they cannot use it online because they don't have it. They don't have the computer with them, but the ductulator is the same thing. Check on the CFM or friction or velocity, and then you can check the size. All right. Okay, this is the first video, and then we're gonna be making more examples. We're gonna be making more videos. Please leave any comment, because I wanna see if this was useful. Because if it's not useful, then I could make other different videos, right? So, sorry, excuse me. Thanks so much for watching HVAC is my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.